a nonprofit, like a hospital along those lines. So really, that's what the decisions come down to, is what is going to be working best for the company. There are 8 steps. Slide will change shortly. But the first step is identifying the problem. First thing with solving the problem is realizing that there is one, and you want to find the purpose. Step 2 is gathering as much information as possible. You want to know everything you can about that problem and that solution to make a good decision. Third is judging the principles. Every company has a set of guidelines and principles that they follow, corporate culture type feel, and brainstorming and analyzing different choices. You want to try and analyze all the possible outcomes from all your different choices, all the different scenarios that could happen. Step 5 is evaluating each alternative or that person you're trying to hire. This is like their resume, their overall job qualifications. Step 6 is selecting the best alternative. You're going to make an informed decision with a group of fellow employees to arrive at the best decision. Step 7 is actually executing that decision. Step 8 is evaluating. So identifying the problem. What is the problem you were trying to solve? What are the affected parties? Are they the low-level employees or the high-end people? Is there a timeline or deadline? Do you need to get a new employee in here by the end of the week, or is they going to start in 2 months from now? Information gathering. You want to, like I said, you want to gather as much information on that problem and solution. You want to use check sheets, review your existing information, because you don't want to be researching new stuff when you already have that info sitting in a filing cabinet. Step 3 is judging your principles on your company. What's your corporate culture? There might be many alternatives to choose from. So depending on what you are into, what the company is looking for, whether it's profit or research, that's going to be the overall deciding factors. Example of this is St. Jude's Hospital. They are a non-profit. When they're looking for people, they're looking for the best minds to further the research, to find the best treatments, the best cures. They're not looking for all the profit. If you look at a company like Goldman Sachs, they're looking for profit. They want guys that are going to work there 60 hours a week. How can they maximize their revenues and minimize costs? Step 4 is you want to brainstorm and analyze all the different choices. You're going to have cause and effect diagrams, Pareto charts. This is going to help you determine the possible outcomes of what's going to happen from the decision you're going to make. The Pareto chart will help you prioritize the causes of the problem, so you know the biggest causes that you need to solve. An example of this is McDonald's. In New York, they started implementing ordering kiosks, and they have a automatic fry dispenser, so people don't have to the employees don't have to sit there and put the fries in the holders. It's going to lower operating costs. It helps with the lunch rush, and they can lower the amount of employees that they have on staff. Evaluation of alternatives. This is the actual qualifications of the person or the idea. The experience of the person, their resume, their work experience, all their achievements that they have done. You want to weigh the positives and negatives. If you're hiring an older person, you might have to pay them more, but there'll be less training. A younger person, you'll have more training, but you can pay them less. So then you're going to select your best choice. You're going to make an informed decision from the steps 1 through 5. Realistically, you're going to have a group of people aboard with you that are going to make this decision with you, and it's going to be hopefully a good decision based on all these criteria. Step 7 is executing the actual decision, is hiring the new employee or implementing the idea. This is going to take time after. The training comes involved. The person or the idea is going to have to become acclimated into the new corporate culture. So everything's going to be new. It's a new idea, a new business practice. It's going to take time for everyone to get used to it. And then you want to evaluate the results. Was the decision a success? You're going to want to go through it. Did you learn anything new about this? Would you change possibly the process that you go through to find a better decision? This really comes down to being one of the most important decisions, or most important steps, because if you don't know, if you didn't gauge it and you don't know that's successful, how are you going to make any better or good decisions in the future? Because you won't know whether you've gained profit, the positivity is better in the workplace. You got to gauge these things. For my new and you, I just landed a job with a credit card processing company called Pure Payment Systems. A little bit of oversight. They started in Virginia, but they're moving up north. They're a 5-year-old company, so they're very new. It's a transparent company, no contracts. They offer like free terminal swaps, but the overall way they decided to hire me was I went to the career fair a couple months back, and they just gave out resumes to everyone, but I spoke to one of the representatives there from Pure Payments, and we were chit-chatting for a while, and about 2 months later, he gave me a call and asked to sit down with me. So once we sat down, we were talking. It actually happened to be on the same day as the dress rehearsal for my business plan competition, so that was on my mind the whole day. And when he asked me the classic question, tell me about yourself, that was the first thing I went into. I just told him all about the competition, what I'm doing, and the guy loved it. My interview actually lasted about 90 minutes. And he decided, he goes, hey, we're gonna have a few more people, but I'll get back into contact with you in the week. And after that interview, I kind of thought I had the job already. But I ended up emailing him 2 days later, and he called me back a week later, and he decided to give me the job. So, and then I got the job offer, and Rachel will actually discuss more about the whole process of what happens with the job offer.
Hey everyone, my name is Rachel, and I'll be discussing the elements included in crafting a very effective job offer.
You will. Sometime.
Okay, so after you decide to hire the candidate you have interviewed, an offer letter gives the employer the opportunity to clearly articulate the terms of employment for the specific position. I'll be discussing the advantages of a job offer letter, the facts to include in a job offer letter, and the facts to avoid in a job offer letter. The advantages of writing a job offer letter is that it starts the employment relationship off to a positive note. It not only sets the initial expectation of what is expected of the job and its responsibilities, but lets the candidate know that they are recognized for the skills and experiences that they bring to the company. So with that said, a well-crafted job offer letter encourages new employees to feel confident not only of their decision to have accepted your job offer, but the ability to perform the job itself. And the last advantage of an effective job offer is that once the letter is signed by both parties, offer letters are considered legal documents and could be used to resolve disputes later in the employment. So it just minimizes future legal risks. Everything should be in the job offer clearly stated. And the facts to include in a job offer is to begin by writing the title of the position, the start date of the new hire's first day of work, the employment classification type, whether it's part-time, full-time, or it's just temporary, and the compensation in which the employee will be given, and whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or annually. And an offer letter typically includes benefits such as dental, health, disability, and other types of insurance. This provides the candidate of what they will receive, but it will also be communicated in further detail rather on the first day of hire or in the employee handbook. The offer also must describe the condition for the offer, drug tests, pre-hire documentation, references, and background checks must be satisfied before being hired. The offer of employment can be rescinded based on the information obtained, so it's important to pass those drug tests to get your job. All right, the next facts to be included are employee agreements. If your company requires new employees to sign other documents such as the non-disclosure or the non-compete agreement, also you can attach them to the offer. A non-disclosure agreement is a contract signed by an employee who promises to protect the confidentiality of the disclosed information during the course of employment. And similar to a non-disclosure, the non-compete agreement prevents the employee from sharing the valuable information after their employment terms. So if they go to a new company, it's important that they not compete with their existing employment. The next fact to include in an offer letter is to clearly state that the company is an at-will employer. An at-will doctrine states the employment may be terminated at any time for any or no reason at all. And lastly, the final step to be included in a job offer is the candidate's signature. This proves that I have read, understood the terms of agreements presented in the job offer. So just a form of acknowledgement. So here are the facts to avoid in a job offer. One is to avoid not making the letter the only announcement of the job offer. Always call or speak prior to giving the job offer. This makes it a lot more personal and encourages them to be enthusiastic about their new job. The second fact to not include is using phrases that imply job security or indefinite future employment. This relates back to my previous slide about employment at will. So it does not guarantee them security in their jobs. And the final fact to avoid is asking for improper personal information. Refrain from comments that relate to the EEOC, such as race, ethnicity, national origin, or disability status. Okay, so for my new and you, I was offered a letter to work at the Grand Villa Resort for the summer of 2014. The position stated that I must pass a criminal background checks in order for me to be employed, and I did, and I spent my summer working at the resort. And for my next job offer, I got a letter from Hertz. They asked that I pass a background check and a drug test. I did pass the drug test, but I failed to pass the background check because I have 2 speeding tickets when I went to Miami. So they rescinded my application, but they did state that I can be terminated any time. Okay, my last offer letter is from MBB Management, which I work at right now. It's a consulting firm. And in my offer, it was very simple. They stated my title, my position, the hours I work a week, my compensation, when I will get paid, and my signature. So it's very clearly stated, and I'm an employer at will. And now presenting Taylor with background checks.
I'm Taylor, and I'll be talking about your favorite part of the job process, which is background checks, drug tests, and references. These all are after the job offer is given. So we'll start with the normal background check. Why do they do this? Employers conduct background checks and pre-employment methods to avoid hiring and training new employees who are not suitable for the job. So the most popular of the background checks are the criminal background check, credit report, standard screening tests, and drug tests, and I will go over all of them. So the background check, federal laws do require it. Information in these reports will be used to determine if you are eligible for the job. It goes over education verification, review of work history, review of your social security number, and then that's all just like you are who you say you are. Next, we have the criminal background check. It's the process of finding if you have a criminal history. These are routinely performed before employment is offered, and then you are given upon clear criminal background. Next, we have the credit report, which is more popular in the background search now. It's payment history and other credit-related characteristics. If you are involved in a bankruptcy, a tax lien, and also contains previous addresses and employments, and then it verifies the accuracy of your information. So next, I will talk about the screening tests, which are a physical examination, skills test, aptitude test, integrity test, and a drug test, which I'll go over in detail. First will be the physical examination. But it is required only after the job is offered. Usually, most companies do not want to pay for you to have a physical examination if you are not going to be working for this company. It is illegal to give a pre-employment physical exam or to ask about disabilities on application. And usually, the physical exam has to do with the job itself. Next is the skills test, which is most common form of pre-employment testing. It's usually tested upon specific and general skills, verifies the skills that you say you have, and okay, so say you were hired to work in like machinery